Serious about films. This video is brought to you by Ultimate Film Financing, the #1 online course available to you on Skillshare and Udemy. This course has several hours of content carefully selected and organized so you can learn how to develop and finance your own film. Just click on the link and get free access to it. Today's video is about trailers. Recently, the reboot of Charlie's Angels, distributed by Sony Pictures, was a failure at the box office. This failure was quickly eclipsed by some quotes taken from an interview by the film's director Elizabeth Banks, who also stars on the film. Director Elizabeth Banks was quoted as she tried to make the case that if the film bombed at the box office, it would reinforce the idea that men don't like action movies that are female-driven. This was slightly before the film was even released. That makes it look like Elizabeth Banks was already blaming men for the film's failure. She also seems to have diminished films like Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel as belonging to a male genre. As it was known that the Charlie's Angels domestic box office was below the studio's lower expectations, the director continued to blame male audiences for not wanting to see women driving an action film. Her words got instant responses on forums, social media, and pretty much everywhere. People were instead blaming her for making a bad film and also blaming bad marketing. Now, on this video, I'll be touching all of these issues. However, we will center our discussion around the film's trailer. I usually say that trailers, teasers, posters, and movie stills are the backbone of any movie's promotional campaign. They are crucial tools because frequently they are the first point of contact between the audience and the film. Lots of people make up their minds about wanting to see a film right there. Make a bad trailer or a bad poster, and your audience is more likely to either pick another film at the multiplex or stay home watching Netflix. The reason why Charlie's Angels underperformed at the box office is due to the following issues. Number 1. An uncomfortable perception early on that the film was another of Hollywood's attempts to shove politics through the audience's throats. This was clear several months before the film's release, when Elizabeth Banks discussed the film's pitch that seemed to be highly infused with politics, more specifically woke culture and political correctness. She said this and this. Several commentaries appear to show that moviegoers did not like the idea of Hollywood trying to lecture people, or telling them what they should think. It's not that Hollywood does not try to influence people, but the lesson here seems to be, if you are putting political content on an action film, don't brag about it. At least be discreet. Otherwise, moviegoers may not like the idea they are being used or brainwashed. Lots of people even tied this film to an even bigger disaster, the Ghostbusters reboot made in 2016. Clearly, another film where politics took center stage. Number 2. The film seems to have an extremely flawed package. While everybody knows Kristen Stewart and lots of people know Elizabeth Banks, no one really knows Naomi Scott nor Ella Balinska. Also, none of these actresses single-handedly drove any smash hit in the last 5 years. They were in successful films, but those films were not financially successful directly because of them. This means that their bankability and their power to attract audiences, male or female, was far from certain. Plus, as we are going to see on this trailer, this lackluster cast was made even worse by specific decisions taken during the film's development. Number 3. It is highly probable that the studio predicted that the film was going to be a big flop and decided not to spend too much on promotion. This is something big Hollywood studios sometimes do. They do only the basic promotion they are contractually obligated to do and nothing more, hoping that the film will have a quick death and lose a less disastrous amount of money. This will make the write-off less painful, and maybe some executives can keep their jobs. We've seen this strategy in many forms in the past when studios either shelved films or decided to send them directly to streaming. To me, it is clear that Sony Pictures only understood the problem fully when it was way too late. Now, let's look at the trailer. Afterwards, I'll break it down and I'll explain why it is so harmful. To the film, I mean.
I think women can do anything.
Just because they can doesn't mean they should.
But I have so many talents.
It's like I'm powerful with a little tender.
I'm just a decoy stud.
That's just the way you make me
outstanding angels.
You have a new client?
Who is she?
I can't sleep at night.
I'm the lead programmer on a product that can revolutionize the power industry, but there is a possibility it can be weaponized.
Elena, we need to go.
No!
You're not a waitress?
No, I'm Jane.
Oh.
Who are you?
I'm Bosley.
Welcome to the Townsend Agency. We exist because traditional law enforcement can't keep up.
I don't like that, boy.
You guys are like lady spies. Jane's former MI6.
Oh God.
What did you do to Sven?
I compressed his carotid and deoxygenated his brainstem.
Well, that sounds painful.
Don't worry, he's gonna wake up.
Unless he doesn't.
Sabina runs the ground game.
See, I know stuff.
Let's get the weapon before it becomes every bad guy's favorite new toy. Take her to the closet, gear her up. We're gonna need some wigs, toys,
Feisty.
clothes. Ah, we're still in the first closet.
There's another closet.
Oh, mints.
Let's just stop the touching. Some of these blows up. I love phosphorus.
It's my favorite chemical. Jane, are you flirting with a handsome nerd?
Of course not.
How'd that feel? Because it looked like it felt really good.
That felt nice.
We in it together, but don't call me angel.
Good morning, angels.
Good morning, Charlie.
Okay, now let's break it down. It starts well with Rio de Janeiro, where the actual film begins. Then it enters straight into its political message by opposing a pretty unquestionable idea that women can do anything to a caricature of some supposedly toxic masculinity. Now, on the film's full scene, available online, this male character does diminish women's capacity and kind of considers them to be inferior to men. However, in these brief seconds, his line is just that,
Just because they can doesn't mean they should.
and that can also be interpreted as a sign of simple chivalry or an instinct to protect women. And this reading is relevant because here, Kristen Stewart's character seems to be pretending to play an escort, a profession known for its violence towards women. Anyway, the way this trailer starts seems to show us that this film will be highly critical and accusatory regarding men, while also trying to build a case against patriarchy and etc. You know, the usual suspects. And just for his words, all the men on this scene deserve to die. Now, I'm not defending the male character on the full scene. What I am saying is that the bits that open this trailer do not show a Harvey Weinstein, and yet he deserves to be destroyed. These two shots, for example, show extreme anger and violence.
Who steals humanitarian aid money?
And then Patrick Stewart appears completely out of context. It seems he's not really needed, but because he is a star, they had to put him in. It's justifiable and understandable, but a bit confusing. Even more because as soon as he enters, he is gone. Now we go to this scene, where the two angels appear again in a kick-ass situation, a boxing ring. Ella Balinska is a beautiful woman, but here she has no mystique, no mystery, nothing that brings her closer to any previous angel. She is just kick-ass, plain and simple. Kristen Stewart, who is also a beautiful woman, here looks like a social justice warrior, completely devoid of any sex appeal, completely boring. Yes, also a far cry from Lucy Liu, Drew Barrymore or Cameron Diaz. I won't even go into Farrah Fawcett or Jacqueline Smith territory. Until now, these angels have shown none of the stunning sex appeal of any angel on any film or show season. It's just a white woman who looks like a boy and a black woman predictably cast as a kick-ass. Any sex appeal we saw was fake. Then we go to Europe, and that's tax incentives talking, we know that. And now we will meet the third angel. But look here, Again, Kristen Stewart looks like a boy. Okay, moving on. This part of the trailer introduces the future third angel as well as the film's MacGuffin, the thing everybody's after. And it is so boring, this trailer will practically ignore it. But that's okay. Trailers do that sometimes. And then Ella Balinska kicks more ass, and nothing here seems particularly exciting. It's well done, but come on, nothing we haven't seen before. And then this.
You're not a waitress?
Seriously, a top kick-ass agent disguised as a waitress. Am I the only one here who thinks this is a painful cliché? And then the answer.
No, I'm Jane. Oh.
Did someone get paid to write this? But the most unbelievable thing about this part is that Naomi Scott looks so ordinary and clueless that it is very hard to believe she will be the third angel. Again, it is painful to see such a beautiful woman turned into such an uninteresting and unattractive angel. It was Dolly Parton who once said that it costs a lot of money to look this cheap. Well, that's precisely the point this trailer is making. Then, more kick-ass. And it is so disappointing that John Frankenheimer must be turning in his grave. Now, the trailer will get even more painful as we prepare to meet Elizabeth Banks. Oh, the obligatory product placement. Now, Naomi Scott continues to look like a scared accountant or librarian as she asks the same old question we see in all trailers since Michael Keaton played Batman 30 years ago.
Who are you?
Now, look at this shot. Kristen Stewart continues to look like a boy, and Elizabeth Banks seems to be apologizing. I'm sorry. Is this how you introduce Bosley? Really? Out of nowhere? Bosley is supposed to be a funny character. On the 2000 film, this was Bill Murray. Come on. And look at the musical cue after she practically apologizes for being Bosley.
I'm Bosley.
Oh yes, it's her film. Now it all makes sense. We are 1 minute into the trailer, and what do we have so far? Angels with zero sex appeal, a Bosley that is no fun, and now we have some lavish sets and the explanation about the agency. And all this is run by 3 people. Seriously. Some customary explosions. The third angel continues unappealing, and some unfunny humor.
What did you do to Sven?
I compressed his carotid and deoxygenated his brainstem.
Well, that sounds painful.
Don't worry, he's gonna wake up.
Unless he doesn't.
And it seems here, most of their work seems to be putting on wigs or taking them off. But seriously, it's very unfunny when compared to all previous angels. Then we have some description on Kristen Stewart's character. It's not necessarily a bad thing that these images come out of context. This is standard trailer editing, and all this is closed with an unfunny remark.
See, I know stuff.
And now we have more of the film's politics. And the world is men, men, men.
Take her to the closet.
Now, this is hilarious. Wigs? Of course. It's hard to imagine that whoever made this trailer couldn't notice those repetitions that don't add anything new to what we are watching. It's just cliché after cliché. Now, it is funny that a film that has so much ambition in terms of its political message, regarding genre equality, about the way men objectify women, about women being able to do anything, etc., there is this moment in the story where the angels seem to have reached heaven in a life-size Barbie's dream closet. I mean, come on, maybe the film here is paying an homage to showgirls, I don't know.
Let's just stop the touching. Some of these blows up.
Then we arrive at the party scene, and it all seems so boring. Wait, are they doing the Macarena? These shots say nothing, they add nothing. They are just filling space.
I love phosphorus.
It's my favorite chemical.
Finally, Ella Balinska gives us something interesting. And of course, they ruin it with politics. They have to cut the only good chemistry so far.
Jane, are you flirting with a handsome nerd?
Of course not.
More images thrown into the mix? This is so dull. And we are done. This trailer is clumsy, repetitive, filled with unfunny jokes.
How'd that feel? Because it looked like it felt really good.
That felt nice.
And it does nothing for the film's character nor the story. The audience is supposed to deduce the film from the trailer, pretty much in the same way Sherlock Holmes deduces the truth from the clues he encounters. The best trailers will give you a sample of the film that will allow you to deduce the great stuff the film has to offer. Great trailers build the desire to hear a story or meet a character. Great trailers will very often place a burning question on your mind. From this trailer, we deduce this film has very little to offer, and it's all underwhelming. Take a look at all the shots focused on Kristen Stewart.
I think women can do anything.
Just because
Like I'm power with a little
the decoy stuff? Who steals? Your manager need money. Who is she?
Law enforcement.
Guys, he's gonna wake up.
Sabina runs the ground game
See, I know stuff.
before it becomes every bad guy's favorite new toy.
Jane, are you flirting?
How'd that feel? Because it looked like it felt really good.
You get very little. Now Ella Balinska.
That's just the way you make.
You have a new client?
Lead programmer of the power industry.
No!
No, I'm Jane. Who are you?
Can't keep up.
Jane's former am I?
What did you do?
I compressed his carotid and deoxygenated his brainstem.
Unless he doesn't.
Some wigs.
It's my favorite chemical.
With a handsome nerd?
Of course not.
Also very little. Now Naomi Scott.
I can't sleep at night.
It can be weaponized.
Waitress? Oh.
Who are you?
We exist because traditional
Guys are like lady spots.
It's Ben? Well, that sounds painful.
Don't worry.
We're still in
There's another closet.
So some of these blows up.
That felt nice.
Morning, Charlie.
Who cares about this character? She is completely uninteresting. Now Elizabeth Banks.
I'm Bosley.
the town's an agency. 6. Before it becomes every bad guy's favorite new toy. Cheer her up. Close the first closet.
Just stop the touching.
Yes, her name appears 4 times on this trailer, which means this is basically a vanity project. The film may actually be amazing, but this trailer kills it. This trailer was launched on YouTube on June 27th. That's roughly 5 months before the film's release. It's been seen almost 19 million times at the time of the film's release. This is disastrous. Just for the sake of comparison, let's look at the trailer of the first Charlie's Angels film made in the year 2000, nearly 20 years ago.
Another movie from an old TV show.
What are you gonna do?
Walk out.
They go where no one else dares. They do what no one else can. So when there's only one chance to get it right, they're the ones to call.
Who are you people? Damn, I hate to fly.
But they only answer to me. My name is Charlie.
Meet the most elite crime-fighting force ever assembled. They've got techniques you never dreamed of.
You know, I signed that release waiver, so you can just feel free to stick things in my slot.
Good morning, Angels.
Good morning, Charlie.
Meet Roger Corwin. He's planning to steal a new software that can trace a voice signal anywhere in the world.
If this got into the wrong hands, it would be the end of privacy.
That's where you come in, Angels.
Charlie, would that mean undercover?
I'll leave that up to you, Bosley.
Oh boy.
Columbia Pictures presents
$1,000, the girl catches him.
a new breed of knockout.
Hi, Pete. How are you?
I'm good. I just
Could you hold on a second? It's just been kind of crazy this week at work.
Cameron Diaz.
I'm like a virgin, you know? I mean, it's my first time. Here.
Drew Barrymore.
I figured we could have a little breakfast.
I have to go. A little help?
Lucy Liu.
At your service.
And Bill Murray.
I love fire.
This fall, get some action. Charlie's Angels.
And that's kicking your...
The first thing you'll notice is there is no politics here. Just fun. It does not pretend to be what it's not. What's there to say? These are real movie stars, perfectly delivering an update on the original property's spirit. It even starts exactly where the new trailer ends. Another big difference is that this trailer is narrated by Charlie himself, making sure that those who don't know, know. Then the trailer will present us with a mix of images that will accentuate the goofiness.
You know, I signed that release waiver, so you can just feel free to stick things in my slot.
Good morning, angels.
Good morning, Charlie.
Meet Roger Corwin. He's planning to steal a new software that can trace a voice signal anywhere in the world.
If this got into the wrong hands, it would be the end of privacy.
That's where you come in.
The sexiness and the resourcefulness of those angels. It will bring us closer to those stars, giving us moments of pure fun. But more than that, this is a film that does not take itself too seriously.
$1,000, the girl catches him.
A new breed of knockout.
The jokes work.
Hi, Pete. How are you?
I'm good. I just
Could you hold on a second? It's just been kind of crazy this week at work.
Dialogues are fun.
I'm like a virgin, you know? I mean, it's my first time. Here.
Drew.
This is not a female version of Mission Impossible. And some situations are just plain silly, and they do make you laugh.
A little help?
This trailer makes great use of a classic rock song, bringing a layer of familiarity to it.
I love fire.
This fall, get some action. Charlie's Angels.
And that's kicking your...
Now, Elizabeth Banks has criticized Marvel films as a male genre. She is right in the sense that Marvel comics always had predominantly male readers. Therefore, it is quite safe to assume that the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or MCU, will generate interest from a predominantly male audience. However, it is absurd to attribute the MCU's incredible success just to the fact that the brand has a larger male fanbase. It's impossible to compare decades of work, millions of pages, hundreds of characters, dozens of different storylines with a small TV series from the 70s few people today are missing. Marvel's films do exactly the opposite of what Charlie's Angels did here. First, they do not feel like political activism. I am not saying the MCU does not have it. What I am saying is that Disney and whoever works in those films are incredibly careful before waving flags. Second, the package of those films seems flawless, with all the right movie stars in the right roles. The casting in those films actually seems to be very conservative. They have the best stars in large quantities and the best actors, and everybody look their best. Third, from development to promotion, everything is near perfect. You don't have to be a MCU fan, and I am not, to see this. Let's look at the trailer from Spider-Man Far From Home and see how different it is from Charlie's Angels.
Everywhere I go, I see his face. I just really miss him.
Yeah, I miss him too. I don't think Tony would have done what he did if he didn't know that you were going to be here after he was gone.
You gonna be the next Iron Man now?
Well, no, I don't have time. I'm too busy doing your jobs.
Oh.
I'm kidding. Look, keep up the good work. Because I am going on vacation.
Heads up, Nick Fury's calling you.
I don't really want to talk to Nick
Answer
Fury.
the phone.
Why?
Because if you don't talk to him, then I have to talk to him. I don't want to talk to him. You sent Nick Fury to voicemail?
I gotta go.
You do not ghost Nick Fury.
What up, dorks? What's up? We're just talking about the trip.
I'm here in St. Marco Polo. Oh, I think MJ really likes me. That reminds me when I first fell in love.
You're a very difficult person to contact, Spider-Man. This is Mr. Beck.
We could have used someone like you on my world.
Your world?
Beck is from Earth, just not ours. The snap to our hole in our dimension.
You're saying there's a multiverse?
We have a job to do, and you're coming with us.
There's gotta be someone else you can use. What about Thor?
Off-world.
Captain Marvel. Unavailable.
But I'm just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Bitch, please, you've been to space.
What do you want, Peter? I want to go back on my trip with the girl who I really like and tell her how I feel. MJ, I
am Spider-Man.
No, of course I'm not.
I mean, it's kind of obvious.
You're right, you may not be ready, but this is my responsibility. Saving the world requires sacrifice. Sometimes people die.
Oh my God. I just always feel like I'm putting my friends in danger. The world needs the next Iron Man.
You going to step up or not?
Out of here! Get on the jet! Who are you? I work with Spider-Man. You work for Spider-Man? I work with Spider-Man, not for Spider-Man. New plan!
See what I mean? Drama. It starts with the character. In Charlie's Angels, it is a heavy-handed lecturing from woke culture. Here, it is someone who is crushed. And by the way, I have not seen any of these films. I am only speaking based on these trailers. But that's the point. You don't have to be a man to relate to the human being in pain. But like David Bordwell says, it's all about the way it is told.
I don't think Tony would have done what he did if he didn't know that you were going to be here after he was gone.
Then we have a brief action sequence that is truly engaging and very well written humor.
You gonna be the next Iron Man now?
Well, no, I don't have time. I'm too busy doing your jobs.
Oh.
I'm kidding. Look, keep up the good work because I am going on vacation.
Now, notice that both trailers start with a brief character introduction and a brief action sequence. The main difference now is that this trailer continues with humor while Charlie's Angels gives you underwhelming action.
Ghost Nick Fury.
What up, dorks? What's up? We're just talking about the trip.
I'm here in St. Marco Polo. Oh, I think MJ really likes me. That reminds me when I first fell in love.
Then it gets serious.
You're a very difficult person to contact, Spider-Man.
And the film introduces some serious star power.
This is Mr. Beck.
We could have used someone like you on my world.
Your world?
Beck is from Earth, just not ours. The snap to our hole in our dimension.
You're saying there's a multiverse?
We have a job to do, and you're coming with us.
This is classicism at its best, the call to adventure.
Gotta be someone else you can use. What about Thor?
Off-world.
Captain Marvel. Unavailable. But I'm just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Bitch, please, you've been to space.
Yes, that's Samuel L. Jackson, alright. And just like Charlie's Angels, there is also a flirting moment.
I can tell her how I feel. MJ, I
am Spider-Man.
No, of course I'm not.
I mean, it's kind of obvious.
And then, back to spectacle.
You're right, you may not be ready, but this is my responsibility. Saving the world requires sacrifice. Sometimes people die.
Classicism again. The hero grows up and steps up to the challenge.
I just always feel like I'm putting my friends in danger. The world needs the next Iron Man.
You going to step up or not?
And it closes with some nice humor.
I work with Spider-Man. You work for Spider-Man? I work with Spider-Man, not for Spider-Man. New plan.
So it's pretty much obvious why the new version of Charlie's Angels was such a disappointment. Bad decisions, bad development, a whining filmmaker, the wrong package, and a very bad trailer let loose for 4 months. A good decision came too late. On October 11th, a month before the film's release, Sony Pictures released a new trailer. This second trailer is completely different from the first one. Certainly, someone at Sony understood the first trailer was horrible and decided a complete change of course was needed. And it is completely different. Let's take a look.
Hello?
You're in grave danger. Get out of there now!
Open Safe House 6.
Welcome to the Townsend Agency. I run a covert group of exceptional women. So you guys are like lady spies. We work outside the rules.
I don't like that, boy.
in secret, together. You may not know we exist, but we are always watching.
Who steals humanitarian aid money?
You are in the presence of angels.
So, you want to train to be an angel?
Hell yeah. Give me my wings.
Let's go! Where do you think you're going? You need to land this bird, Hoffman. What? Later!
Sit down, keep your hands where I can see them.
Really not supposed to be touching things in here unless you're supposed to be touching things in here.
You're adorable.
Jane, is that you flirting with a handsome nerd?
Bad girl, you sad girl, you're such a dirty bad girl.
The best part isn't taking down international criminals. It's you guys.
And the day drinking. That's what I like the most. Take her to the closet.
So I can just take whatever I want?
Borrow.
Is that an actual rule?
Angel! Time to go to work.
First, they understood that Naomi Scott's character was not working at all. She was too dull, lost, and weak. But in this trailer, she's already part of the trio. Those scenes where she's scared, trying to understand what's happening, or hiding behind Ella Balinska are gone. Her character here is much stronger. Second, that horrible introduction to Bosley is also gone. Thank God. We go straight into what they do. Third, that whole thing about being woke and that stupid talk about what women can or cannot do is also gone. Thank God for this too. Here we go, straight to the point.
I run a covert group of exceptional women.
It's a group of extraordinary women, period. And they start to look like it. Fourth, yes, here they have a lot more sex appeal. See, no politics. With the right cast, this film could have been a success. Exhibit A.
You are in the presence of angels.
A great line by a great actor. See what I mean? A much stronger character. Fifth, more fun.
Give me my wings.
Let's go! Where do you think you're going? You need to land this bird, Hoffman. What? Later!
This is actually a very funny situation, and it makes me want to know how she's going to land that damn plane. Sixth, music. Yes, Donna Summer's classic Bad Girls fits here like a glove. From now on, the entire trailer plays like a fun party with goofy spies, which brings us a little closer to the intellectual property's original spirit that the two previous films followed completely, the opposite of the boring, woke characters of the first trailer. Even the action scenes that looked lame now look way better. That, my friends, is the power of music. Seventh, sexy chemistry. Ella Balinska's character was wooden, cold, boring, and like any social justice warrior, barely human. Here, however...
Sit down, keep your hands where I can see them.
Really not supposed to be touching things in here unless you're supposed to be touching things in here.
You're adorable.
Jane, is that you flirting with a handsome nerd?
She's adorable. And he is adorable. Both of them are adorable. And yes, now you want to see more. Eighth, loosen up Elizabeth Banks. She is much more fun here. Ninth.
The best part isn't taking down international criminals. It's you guys.
Now this is a story about friendship. Before, it was just boring mission. 10th.
Take her to the closet.
Now the closet sequence is allowed to work as it should. Now it makes sense.
So I can just take whatever I want?
Borrow.
Is that an actual rule?
11. I already said that the change of music makes a big difference here. But there is more to be said. The song Don't Call Me Angel is very angry towards men. I checked the video clip, and in it we find a woman brutally spanking a man who is all tied up inside a boxing ring. I checked the lyrics of the song, and it seems to me those lyrics are not addressing a particular man who has mistreated a woman, for example. It seems to me it is directed to all men, or to men in general. Yes, we are all guilty. To me, this is another example of how heavy-handed the political content of the film seems to interfere with the entertainment part, contributing to the film's failure. On this trailer, the song is limited to a small part in the beginning. On the first trailer, it played with lyrics throughout most of it. Now, I wonder about the sanity of studio executives who, on a film titled Charlie's Angels, allow a song titled Don't Call Me Angel to be such a big part on the film's promotion. That's an example of how political correctness contradicts and destroys the spirit of an intellectual property. But it's up to good old Donna Summer to rescue this trailer. To me, this says that this film had a sloppy development. Whoever helmed this project did not have a coherent vision for the film, only a political agenda. Now, Hollywood being Hollywood, we know it is the Taj Mahal of contradictions. This version of Charlie's Angels must have been so badly developed, its first trailer only produces contradictions. The second trailer is much better as it attempts to reposition the film and really kind of redevelop the whole thing, which we know is impossible. But it also comes way too late. Sadly, by the time this second trailer was released, lots of people had already understood what this film was all about. They had made up their minds, and they were not going to watch this film. This second trailer is much closer to the trailer we saw earlier with Drew Barrymore, Cameron Diaz, and Lucy Liu. There are great trailers that successfully sell mediocre films, as well as mediocre trailers that destroy great films. A trailer is an instrument of precision storytelling. You only have 2 minutes. It highlights the best things a film has, thus reducing the effort it takes to make you buy a ticket. If mistakes like this happen inside the well-financed world of the big studios, imagine how often it also happens with small independent films. This means you have to dedicate the proper amount of attention to your trailer. You cannot rush it. This video is brought to you by Ultimate Film Financing, the #1 online course available to you on Skillshare and Udemy. This course has several hours of content carefully selected and organized so you can learn how to develop and finance your own film. Just click on the link and get free access to the course.